Hello, this is Dr. Boatman, and I'm just putting in a quick snippet in here about the trifold. I have still been getting some emails from some of you, and so I figured I would just do it this way versus responding to each individually, just to make sure that everyone has a clear understanding on what's expected for the trifold assignment. So I'm in the classroom, and yeah, it looks like you can see my screen. So right here under the field work, I am in resources and under fieldwork materials. So right here is all of the information for the trifold. There are the directions and the rubric. And so right here, and I'm going to show you a sample of a trifold. It says each trifold must include the physical, intellectual, emotional, and social development, which is the acronym PIES. So those are the specific sections that your trifold should have. And those are basically the same things that we're covering in each chapter in the textbook. It's just that instead of cognitive, this has intellectual. Okay. The content should be written for a parent audience, so you don't want it to sound scholarly, like a research type of thing, but something that they might pick up at a school or at a daycare, or so something that is definitely parent friendly. And so technically I think it's like 3rd or 4th grade reading level. There's a certain age that materials that are just for the general public, they try to keep the reading level at a certain age. I can't remember offhand, but you don't have to write it like it's for a professor or even for someone that is a college graduate, basically is what I'm trying to say. And you don't want to use any kind of jargon maybe that you've learned in the school system or whatever that parents wouldn't understand. You want to break it down. Okay. The audio or video is 2 minutes that you'll use, and you'll present it as if you're showing it to parents, almost like you're just doing a PSA or you're in front of a group. Okay. Of course, there's a minimum of 6 outside resources. So that does not include the textbook. If you use the book, that would be your 7th source. And I did put that right there. So now, really quick here. So that's that. I have so many windows open. Just 1 second. Here we go. All right. So this is what's in the PDF. All right. Just kind of gives you the breakdown. Okay. For each thing, you have to have 6 graphics that match or illustrate the age and skill. So here is and you're not going to be able to see this clear, but just to give you an idea. And somewhere in the class, I did put a video on how to make these in Word or whatever, if you're not sure how to make them. And there's other things that you can use as well. But this is one for ages 0 to 2 months. Okay. And so you see it's set up like this, where it's literally going right across. Okay. And then in the back, you see the works cited or references right there in the middle. Okay, I know you're not going to be able to get a clear shot of that, but I just kind of wanted to give you an overview, and I'm going to read through it. Okay, so they have a picture here of the child. You want to make sure that any graphics are based on the age that you're doing your trifold on. Okay, and then they have intellectual, emotional, social on the inside. Okay, and they have pictures and bullet points of important things that describe that stage. And then on the back, they have physical. All right, so they have all the pies. All right, and then the references are in the middle. And so hopefully that'll give you an idea. So once you're not, you're going to be submitting it in Blackboard, but there's 6 sections. So you have your cover page, your reference page, and the other 4 sections should be for your pies. Okay. And so based on this here, physical, you want to make sure you include fine and gross motor. Okay. Your intellectual, that's your cognitive. What should be happening with their child cognitively or intellectually at that stage. And then there's social and emotional. Okay, and this just kind of gives you some other stuff as far as for grading. Okay, and then this is the rubric, which is also in that same section, and it's based on the other document that I just had up. I just basically took it and put it in this grid so that it would be easier for me to submit in Blackboard once I've graded each of your trifolds. So it's the same information, and that is really it. So I'm hoping that this will clear up any questions you guys had. So if you're wanting to know specifically what to put in there, that is dependent on what you research and find, you know, for your age group. So I can't give you that information because it would kind of be like, you know, telling you what to put in there. You know, so for instance, this one is 0 to 2 months. And so for intellectual, one of the things they put, they talked a little bit about auditory. And so I'm being very vague here. But, you know, just they talked about some of Piaget's, you know, his cognitive theory. Just trying to find a way to quickly sum up what they put. But they put it in a way that parents would be able to understand it. So they're not using, you know, some of the lingo that Piaget uses, just to kind of help a parent to understand, you know, this is what your child should look like at this age. And so it's not meant to be something that, you know, is like a research paper. So hopefully that answers all your questions. Feel free to revisit this video and look back through that information. And I mean, you can always search the web. I'm sure there are tons of examples of things like that. You probably maybe have even seen them at your school, you know, and so hopefully this will be a fun, you know, assignment. It's something that will be colorful and pretty, and, you know, make sure, I can't stress enough, those 6 graphics that they match and illustrate the age and skill. So for instance, if you're talking about emotional development, you wouldn't want to have, and let's say you're on 2 to 4 months or whatever, you wouldn't want to have on that section, it's if you're doing emotional development, you wouldn't necessarily want to show a baby looking like he's trying to, you know, pull up on something, or, you know, something that would be more associated with physical development. You understand what I'm saying? Or if it's an older age and it's emotional development, and maybe it's the mom and she's showing some ABCs or something with a book, you know, that would be more suitable for intellectual development, right? Although it's still bonding, but then that could also go under social, you know. So, but the first thing I think of is learning when I see something like that. So you want to think more like a parent. You know, what would they think about? Oh, I'm teaching my child at this age. I should be teaching and reading, and my child should be learning these types of things at this age. So just make sure you take your time and really think about that, okay? So I hope you found this helpful and that this answers all your questions. If you did email me something about the trifold, unless your email was something that is not specific to this information, then just consider this your reply. But if I did get an email and it's something that is completely not related to this, then I'll respond to you individually. Thank you and have a wonderful week.